God first, what's up? I'm gonna chat having specific interest or limited interest as an autistic adult with high functioning autism. Why am I saying limited interest? So when I say that, I mean having interest that it's not like a large amount. It is a smaller amount of interest. What is it like when I have a smaller amount of actual interests outside of spending time with friends and family? But I'm talking about what I just enjoy. Like, you know how we have stuff that's what we enjoy doing, just me stuff. That's kind of what this video is about. Just like a FaceTime, like I'm your brother type of video. As far as the thing goes, a lot of people have fixated interest or special interest or interest where they can just chat about all day. My thing that I'm into is clothing or fashion and personal style. As far as things go, I will say, so this is kind of a backstory, and I think this is kind of one of those videos that you should listen to all the way through, just because it's gonna make sense, so I am into personal style versus fashion, you know what I mean? I lean more towards personal style. I do watch some videos that are fashion, where fashion trends are mentioned, like what's in, what's the predictions, I've seen that before, at least. So even if I'm not watching them currently, even if I'm not watching that stuff currently, there's that. I've seen it before where it was mentioned about what fashion trends are going to be huge in men's fashion. So there's that, but I do lean more towards personal style because I wear what I like to wear. I don't really pay a whole bunch of attention to fashion trends, but I do think that some fashion trends are ones that I'm like, this is really, really, really neat. So leather jackets, for example, a lot of people wear that. Also, I will mention that it is timeless. It is a timeless piece. That's not one that is just going out of style or anything like that, So that's another point. But yeah, let's chat about this. So it can be challenging being into clothing and apparel because there are a lot of people that are not into clothes just like I am. There are a lot of people that are into clothing and apparel. There are people that do like clothes just like I do, or they like some of the pieces that I really like. So yeah, it's nice that there are loads of people that do like clothes, but then there are lots of people that aren't really into that. And then I do want to chat about YouTube, I guess, on here. There are a lot of people that don't do YouTube. There are a lot of people that are not super into social media like I am. I happen to enjoy having a space where I can chat about clothes a whole bunch. It's fantastic having that space. I literally made a video recently chatting about why I make YouTube videos even when no one watches, because when I post, like, for a little while, like, the videos have either 0 views or even less than 10 views, but I still keep posting. Yes, I did a video in depth on that. Go ahead and check it out on the Men's Personal Style channel. But I will say this, though, I will still chat about that, okay? Obviously not super in depth, but the thing is that I still love to do YouTube. And I want you to remember that. Just keep on going with talking about clothes on YouTube, or talking about video games, or talking about TV shows, or Christian heavy metal, if that's what you're into. Just maybe have a channel for it. Maybe have a few different channels, because maybe you want to take each channel in a different route, like talk about things differently. Maybe one channel's less edited. But what's it like for me when it comes to having specific interest or limited? Because I didn't really talk about like what it's like having limited interests. So it can be tricky because there are a lot of people that do like sports. I have never been super huge into sports. I've played sports. I've participated in sports before. It wasn't like 10 plus different sports or anything like that. And I am actually aware that there are loads of people that don't participate in lots of sports. There are some people that participate in one and they may consider themselves to be super into sports or something remotely similar or something like that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm just that type of person that's not super duper into sports. I'm someone that I enjoy getting to play a video game. I think that is nice. I think there's something nice about playing video games with friends. So that is pretty sweet. But for me personally, I'm not someone that's constantly playing video games. I'm not someone that plays video games very often at all. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I do think, again, it does feel fantastic having a space where I can just chat about what I am into as far as clothing goes. I know that it's also easy to be like, okay, let me post about a million different topics. But then what happens is it's so easy to just not do the thing and then just not post anything. Because one thing is, having multiple different Instagrams, or the second thing could be, how do I put it into words? The second thing could be, I just don't know what to post, because it's like, maybe it's not about having a whole bunch of different Instagrams, but it's just not knowing what to post, because it's like, I don't want to post something, but then it's not authentic, or it's not, my niche, or not even just about my niche. Like, it doesn't have to be clothing, fashion, personal style, apparel. It doesn't have to be anything clothing related or something similar to that. But the thing is that, it's just hard to post a mix of different stuff, because I personally know that's something that I've been thinking, like, maybe I should post a bunch of different topics, because when choosing lifestyle content, this is how I'm thinking, by the way. So it's easy to be like, okay, if I post lifestyle content and post a whole bunch of different stuff, like no niche, okay, no category, okay, no genre, so zero niche, but it's like a whole bunch of different content, a lot of different content. And it's like, it's not for growth, because posting loads of different content, it's harder to grow on a platform. It's not about the growth, okay? But with connections, I know that talking about loads of different things, that can be a good way to connect with people and build some friendships. Something that has been helpful for me, though, maybe I could do a video more in depth on this. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to chat about friendships some more right now. But something that has been helpful for me is, of course, going with the flow. And how I've gone with the flow is just chatting, just conversing about whatever. I think it helps, of course, when I am on the phone with somebody for a phone call and we do actually just chat about whatever. There's no niche, there's no category, there's no genre, there's no specific subject or topic that we are specifically chatting about. We can chat about a lot of different. So we can chat. So when I'm on the phone with the other person, we can chat. And it is a conversation where it can be loads of different subjects. So if it's 10 topics, it is 10. If it ends up being 50 different topics for the phone call and it goes super well and super natural, then it is 50 different topics and it's super naturally flowing and it works super well, So that's how the cookie crumbles. So there's that. So there is that, So with friendships, it is a challenge having specific interests because a lot of people are not into fashion, clothing, personal style, apparel, casual pieces. But then on the other hand, specifically, it is tricky because it's like, but wait, people choose what their outfit is. Like, I choose what clothing piece I wear. I choose to wear a denim jacket because I like wearing a denim jacket. I choose to wear that specific one because I like that specific one. So it is confusing, I guess you could say, because it's like, well, we all choose the pieces that we wear, and loads of people pick the denim jacket because they like the denim jacket, or they pick the specific clothing piece, such as whatever winter coat it is, to stay warm. So that's where it can be tricky because it's like, but wait, with fashion and personal style, like, I get it. I understand. Yes, a lot of people are not into fashion trends, but then at the same time, it's like, wait a second, personal style, there's that. So it's like, this is interesting because it's like, not everyone is into fashion trends, like I said. So a lot of people do lean towards personal style, and that's definitely not a bad thing at all. Or even if I'm chatting with people and they're not super, super into clothing, again, I did say people choose what clothing piece they wear. Like I said, if I wear a denim jacket, I'm choosing to wear the denim jacket. So that's something, and that's why it is tricky with that specific topic when it comes to clothing specifically. But also, on top of that, there are different things that I'm into, such as certain shows. But I do talk about clothes a lot, though, actually. But let's say with shows, the thing is, I don't really watch new shows. I really like watching older shows, and that's something I enjoy if, like, I'm enjoying the show, you know what I mean? If I'm enjoying the show. I think it's nice to watch some older stuff from the 80s if I am enjoying it, So I do have some shows that I enjoy. Also, a lot of people aren't really watching TV. So again, that's where it gets tricky. A lot of people aren't really watching movies. So that's tricky. So it can be tricky finding stuff to talk about. So me chatting about this for this autism video, because a lot of people on the autism spectrum, they do have special interests and specific interests that they like to chat about a lot. I know for me, it's nice chatting about this. And where was I going with that? It is helpful, though, chatting with different people and seeing what the common interests are. So that's definitely something very important. And I want to definitely mention that when it comes to common interests, I know that is super common advice, but for a lot of people, it's not about common interests, though. It's about, do they answer frequently on text? Do I get to chat with them on text? That's how it is for me. Do I chat with them on the phone? And it doesn't have to be chatting every single day. That's the thing that I want to mention. And yeah, I'll definitely have to maybe do a video chatting about friendships in 2026, where, like how I'm thinking about friendships in 2026. I'll have to write a list out, and then that could be a video. I want it to be like the real advice that you really can't really get anywhere else, I guess you could say. So there's that. We all have unique experiences. So being on the autism spectrum with specific interests and a lot of people not being super into clothing, it can be tricky. But I do want to say this, though. There are people that are into specific clothes, and some people like specific types of jackets, and that can be a good way to find common ground, is talking about different jackets. And that is something that I find helpful. Like if I see someone on Instagram stories wearing a specific jacket, it's like, oh, let's chat about that. Or if this is, what is it called? Snapchat, then I could chat about the clothing piece. If someone's wearing a certain pair of shoes, then we could chat about that. And it doesn't have to be a super long conversation. So yeah, as far as friendships goes, there's that. So that's definitely really helpful for me. So I am definitely glad that I filmed this video where I chatted about what it's like having, the specific interest of being into clothing. And I know that a lot of people, that's not really their thing, but it does help for me getting to chat about it even a little bit. I want to experiment in 2026, see what works. So there is that. I'm going to end the video here. Maybe I'll make a part 2 chatting about having specific interest a bit more, or a similar video to this. Bye.